Welcome back to another week of Instigating with Clarkie and Drury, brought to you by our great friends at Conway Furniture, Highway 86 east end of Listowel. Larry Hudson, Chevrolet Buick GMC in Listowel here, and of course, the Listowel Squash Courts. I'm Ryan Drury, joined by Clarkie, and we're very pleased to be joined by a good friend and a great special guest, the president and director of hockey ops for the new Fergus Whalers organization in the PJHL Pollock division. The Pollock division's got 8 teams again, which is great. No bye weeks in the playoffs. And we've got Mr. Jason Baier. Speaking of bye weeks, there's no bye weeks when you're playing for Jason Baier. How are you, Bisey?
I'm good, boys. I'm good. Thanks, Shuri. Thanks, Clarkie. It's a pleasure to be here. Honor to be on your show, and thanks for having me.
Dude, okay, first things first, you've got one of the jerseys on. It's a great take on a classic logo. Just flash the logo for us here. Like, yeah,
there you go.
That's awesome. Killer logo.
There you go, boys.
I like that. Now,
how long? Let's talk about that. How long was that in development?
Well, Clarkie, obviously,
and like the name itself.
You might know the guy. You might know Ryan Duck. He might be your son-in-law by any chance. You know, obviously, a shout out to Ryan and my obviously my right hand man in all this. He was a beast through it all. And you know, Ryan and I sat down to go over the logo, and obviously there's Hartford Whalers background with it. That's obvious. But then we took that and had some ideas with it and tweaked it a little bit, and we liked it. Got rid of a few things, added a few things. And finally come up with it fairly quickly, actually, maybe, 2-3 weeks, and got it branded and really liked it. And in fact, we really liked the aspect of our third jersey as well. There's 3 jerseys, our home, away, and our third jersey. And I want to thank Ryan. He was instrumental in creating the logo with me. And obviously that was a big part of our startup for this whole hockey club, was getting the proper logo, the proper branding, and we're really pleased with it.
As you should be. I mean, it's, again, a great take on a classic logo that I think a lot of people, wish never left the NHL, including, Cousin Brad, who's been on the show, Clarkie. Cousin Brad, a Hartford Whalers draft pick. That's right.
Yes,
that's where Cousin Brad befriended Ray Ferraro and Ronnie Franchise and all the classic Whalers that used to skate out to Brass Bonanza. And I know I talked about this with you, Mr. Baier, in my preseason interviews, which, by the way, for all of our PJHL fans and Listowel Cyclones fans, you can find those full-length interviews on our YouTube channel. I asked you in that interview, Bisey, was Brass Bonanza part of this Whalers revival in Fergus? You're 4 games in. Is Brass Bonanza on the playlist?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Ryan.
Yes.
We play Brass Bonanza coming out for the second period and third period after our first and second intermissions. And it's part of our playlist, and it's played loud and played proud at the CW Sportsplex.
I love it. So not only have you got a cool take on a classic logo, you're celebrating that logo's history on the speakers as well. And we love that. And you're doing them honor on the ice too. Bisey, you're 2-1-1 to start the season. And, when I talk to you, like, heading into this, everybody, typically when they hear expansion team, new franchise, they think, in hockey terms, you think Atlanta Thrashers, you think those early Wild days. No, you guys have come into this with a goal of being more on the Vegas or Seattle side of things. You guys have hit the ground running here, and you've got a great roster. How's it been through the first 4 games experiencing this new era of Fergus Junior C hockey?
Well, first off, our group has learned something that both myself and Ryan Duck knew. This Pollock division is a real tough division. If you're not prepared to put forth the effort and commitment on a nightly basis, doesn't matter who you're playing, you won't get 2 points. It's very even throughout the division. And, we started off in Mount Forest on a Friday night. Actually, it was on a Saturday night, against the defending champions. And we won 2-1. And in overtime, our captain actually scored the goal, Jack McDonald. So it was a obviously David versus Goliath feeling in game one, going into their ranked champions of last season. We didn't have a full roster as of yet at that time. And just to go in there and Bradley Beauville, one of our goaltenders, played out of his mind in game one. And we stole 2 points. And in history, it was amazing, guys, to have our first win. We were on the bench, jumping up and down like we had won the World Juniors. But for us, it was a very big moment in time. Like you said, Ryan, we came into the division as an expansion team, and for us to, go in there and play respectful, to compete hard, and then to win it in overtime was something very special that all of us will always remember. We then followed up with a victory against our former team, the Mitchell Hawks, on home ice on our home opener. And that home opener, as I stood there for the national anthem with Ryan and our GM Craig Dooley and my nephew Cole, who I asked to be the ceremony puck dropper with me there for Mitchell. It's something that I told all the guys, bring it just to take it all in, because that's something that's not going to happen, every day, and we did, and it was an excellent ceremony. Everybody, there was a large crowd there, close to 500 people, and we ended up, skating to a 5-4 win. But again, every team is very competitive in our division. We went up and played my good friend Dawson Smith in Wingham last Friday night, and we learned about how if you don't work hard in our league, you'll lose, and we got smacked 4-1. So, then came back this past Sunday and played a real good team from Kincardine, who plays heavy and plays deep. They're a deep roster. They play heavy and tough, and we battled a 4-4 tie, and I think both teams deserved that point. It was a good played hockey game and good competitive, high skill game. So, we're 2-1-1. We were 5 points our first 4 games. And like you said, we came into this, obviously wanted to compete and gain respect in the league, and we feel we've done that to this point. And we're gonna get better. We're gonna get stronger as our players, play more together and get to know each other and so forth. So we're really happy with the culture so far and happy with our start.
Back in the day, expansion teams were usually the bottom of the barrel, but recent history, and I'm wondering if you're sort of motivated your club around it with the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Kraken had a good year. Of course, the Golden Knights being the Stanley Cup champs. It's got to motivate an expansion team, and it can be done.
No, it has motivated Sparky, very much so. I think we kind of took the initiative that we didn't want teams thinking they're just going to look at the schedule and say Fergus is there. That's 2 points. They're a new team. Mm-hmm. There's 12 points this year against them. We wanted to, send a message early on that, we're here to be a competitive hockey club. For those that know me personally and sports-wise, competitive is something in my blood. And, yes, we're being respectful to our goals and potential, but we're also going to be competitive. We're going to do things as a management team and as a organization to put the best product we can on the ice. And, we've been able to recruit some really high-skilled players, along with some real good, strong local players. And that combination so far with good, strong goaltending, we've got 4 games, 3 from Bradley Beauville and 1 from our rookie, McKinney, that just played out of his mind on Sunday against Kincardine. We're really pleased about that. So we're taking the Vegas Golden Knights initiative. We're going to try to be a thorn in everybody's side early on, and we're going to build our group towards something that we feel we can achieve this year.
Well, and one guy that's going to help you do that, and I mean, Baisey, yeah, you've sent a message here early through the first 4 games, but I think a message was kind of sent, when I talked to you a couple weeks ago about the roster you'd put together, and one guy that's going to help you be a thorn in people's side and also help out offensively, obviously, is former OHLer Ty Anselmini, who, of course, Cambridge Redhawks fans and fans of the PJHL will recognize his name. Man, when you made that signing, like you made a number of big ones, and the Twitter account's very active, which is great for fans. But when that one dropped, I think that really sent a message like, hey, these guys aren't messing around. How did that whole deal come together? Because obviously it's a huge cog in your machine.
Oh, absolutely, he is. And Ryan, that wasn't something that was done just overnight. That was something that took some time. Ty was somebody that Cambridge Bill Wallace reached out to me and said that Ty wasn't going to be returning to Cambridge. And to be honest with you, Ryan, Ty wasn't sure if he wanted to play hockey this coming season. He had been through a lot, and so I reached out to Ty, and we started to become friends first and foremost. And we talked, we hung out, we had a bite to eat together, and I just wanted to really establish where Ty was as a person first and foremost. That's what we do. Our culture is to make sure we're taking care of our players first, as people, and helping them wherever we can, and then second of all, as players. And so we met and we talked, and I had known the levels he's played at. I had known the talent that he has, but I wanted to learn about him, learn his characteristics and so forth. And we really got along well, and to a point where he felt comfortable and excited about joining the program, and we were obviously just as excited about having him. And so we were able to obtain him through a trade, and that was something that took close to probably 3 or 4 weeks. But it was something that, as you said, along with Clarkie, we wanted to make a statement to our rivals in the league and people throughout that we were going to put our team on the ice that we felt we could be competitive with. And Ty does that for us. Ty brings us that not just offensive ability, but he's a strong hockey player all throughout the zones, and he's a great person. And we've gotten to know each other really well, and he's really fit in with our group, and we're excited about having him. And obviously the players that we can provide around with him are as important, and we have more to do at that point. But for this point, we're really excited about having him and what he brings to the team.
Absolutely.
How has the community rallied behind you guys? Said you had a lot of people there at the first game. The community really getting behind you guys?
It is, Clarkie. Obviously when something like this happens down there, there's always a little bit of a, what's going to go on, what's happening. And that was the case probably for the first 4 or 5 months. They had a team in there, as you both know, the Fergus Devils, a good friend of mine who I coached Cyclone hockey with, Trevor Fraser. He was the coach back when the Devils were still there. Our GM, Craig Duell, was actually a coach of the Devils when they were still there. So there's that, taste in everybody's mouth of what happened there. And then they had a couple teams that came and, kind of went in and out of the city pretty quickly. But once we got in there, and once they kind of met myself and Ryan and Craig, and then the coaching staff and now the players, and now they kind of see what we're bringing to the community. Overall, it's been really a ramp up to excellent support. The sponsorships to the people at CW Sportsplex, to the town itself. It's been excellent. And now, as you guys both know, you have to put a product on the ice that people enjoy to come to watch play. We're not expecting our team to go 42-0. We never expected that when we started, but we want to put a good team on the ice that when the family comes out on Sundays, or when they attend a road game, we want to make sure we're providing them, good, strong hockey. And we're doing things within the community. Starting this weekend, we're doing a food drive along with some sponsorships down there. We're getting the players within the community. So overall, Clarkie, it's been really good. And I suspect it'll get stronger as we go, based on the fact that we are new, right? Like, we're a new bar in town, right? We all go to the first bar. It opens up. Remember in Listowel, Ryan, we all went to Krabby Joe's, left Modine's for 2 weeks and see what Krabby Joe's was like, right? And and then we go back to Modine's at some point. But we want to make sure they stay at the bar and that they enjoy themselves and they come back the next time.
I want to go back when this was just a little twinkle in your eye and an idea. Why did you want to get involved with this, and why did you pick Fergus?
Well, why did I want to get involved with this? Well, that was a road trip that we had in Kincardine as I was with the Hawks and helping run that program with Josh. We were in Kincardine one night, and your son-in-law and I were talking, probably over a few cocktails, and just about some aspirations that we both had. And one of my goals is it'd be kind of cool just to have your own team and just kind of start from scratch. And as Ryan pointed out in one of his social media posts this week, it's kind of like the you're kind of like your Xbox games. You're making your Xbox games. You're making your own team up, make your own general manager, your own players. We start talking about it, and then the league actually, Terry Whiteside reached out to me. Ironically, around the same time, if I was interested. Terry was up in a Hanover Mitchell game, and he's from that area, and we were just talking. He's like, "Well, if you're interested, I've got a team, and I'd like for you to take it over." And I was like, "Well, let me finish this season with Mitchell, see where we're at, because we're right in the middle of a playoff run." And so I decided to do it, and I obviously wanted Ryan beside my every move there, and he was excited about it. So we decided to do it. Why Fergus? When talking with the league, Clarkie, there was a couple, cities and towns that they had on their board in their office that they really felt they needed to get back to as a league, and Fergus and Orangeville were two of those cities. And I just had a little bit of a history with Fergus when I played a high level of fastball years ago. I knew that they were a good sports town, and some good hockey players came out of there. Regan Stockel was a GM of Listowel when I was the coach there for the Cyclones, and he had come from the Guelph area. We always talked about how Fergus was a good community for sports, and so I had a little bit of background with them. So I went down there with, met some Fergus people, and really liked it. Really liked the facility. Liked the town, the people, and so I decided on Fergus, and the league was excited about that, and we went to become the Fergus Whalers.
Yeah, it's an interesting story, and I mean, it's great too to kind of see junior hockey come back to the town, because you said it, Bisey, it is a good sports town. I spent a lot of time in Fergus as a kid, and that Fergus, Guelph, kind of center Wellington area. There's a lot of high-level athletes that come out of there, not just hockey players. And yeah, the facility's fantastic. The CW Plex, I mean, that place is a great spot. It's got great ice, and I'm happy that so far the Whalers are racking up some wins here early in your campaign. You mentioned him earlier, obviously scoring that big OT winner to get your first win. And, we talked a little bit about him and your leadership core in that interview we did a couple weeks ago. But, your captain, Mr. McDonald there, I've just heard nothing but good things about him, even before, coming into the year, talking to a couple people that were familiar with him. I mean, the kid, he's clearly earned the letter on his chest. Tell us a little bit about him and why he's such a great leader for your squad.
Well, Jack's story is obviously it's a pretty cool story. Jack's obviously a Fergus kid, Fergus Elora kid, and played his minor hockey there. He then went and played AAA in Waterloo. But Jack's a person that, as much as he's a good, solid player on the ice, he's just an excellent person in general. And we were very lucky that, the Exeter Hawks, Mark Livermore, who Jack played for last season in Exeter. Jack had made it known to Exeter that he'd like the opportunity to play in Fergus's last year junior, based on the fact that the junior team there in front of his family, in front of his friends. And so that's how that conversation started with Mark. And we made the acquisition. But once we started understanding Jack, the person and his family, it was, he's very respectful. He's going to his last year at Western University in London. He's a very intelligent young man, presents himself very well. He's a typical captain of a team you want. He's in the room being a leader, with the young guys, and also leading our veterans down the right path to keep them in line. And just an overall excellent human being. Now, to add to that, he's been a great compliment for Ty Anselmini on the top line. Let's be honest, he put those two guys out there, and Ryan Black's obviously been enjoying having those two guys on that line. And he's been playing, Jet Morningstar along with Burnside, kind of with those two guys. And So Jack is obviously the engine that runs this when it comes on and off the ice, and he's definitely a guy that you want to have a captain of your hockey team. He's just a good overall human being, and we're very excited about how he wanted to be in Fergus, and we're very thankful to Mark Livermore and Exeter Hawks for giving us the opportunity to make that acquisition for him and allow an individual like Jack to play in front of his family and friends for his last junior season of hockey.
Absolutely. And, we are broadcast. We're broadcasting Fergus. So if you're watching this right now, get down there to the CW Sportsplex and watch your Fergus Whalers. All right. Go down there. They're off to a great start, and you should go support that team. Bisey, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, of course, because you're a competitive guy. It seems to have filtered down to your children, because of course I'm still good buddies with your son Brock, who Junior C fans, Mitchell Hawks fans, Listowel Cyclones fans, of course, Cherry Cup champion. How you doing? They'll remember Brock and how competitive he was in the blue paint. I know he just had a big procedure. He was posting about it. I chatted with him a little bit the other day. How's he feeling? Double hip surgery. That's not fun to go through, especially at his age. How's Brock doing right now? What's he up to?
Well, thanks very much for bringing it up, Ryan. I know you guys, he's a friend of the show before. And ironically, I was with Brock today, had lunch with him. And he's doing really well. It's actually been, this Thursday will be 3 weeks since his surgery on September the 7th. And I've never been more prouder than him, for what he's gone through. Even some of those big saves and big games and big wins he's had in his career, seeing what his mental and his warrior mode to go through something like this, very impressive. Very proud moment for me. He's doing good. It's an exciting week for him at this point. On Thursday, it's scheduled to be the first time he'll be able to stand up since the 7th of September. And we're looking forward to that day where he can actually stand up. And it won't be for very long, obviously, the first few times. But he's doing well. He's feeling good. He's eager. His only drawback is he wants to know why the schedule doesn't go faster than it's already been. He's on a really good pace, but the surgery was a success. They were able to do what they wanted to do on both the hips, and he's now resting comfortably and doing his stretches, and he's off all medication. He's he's very tough that way. And like I said, it's very nice of you to ask. And right now, our hope is that in Thanksgiving time, we're hoping that we can travel. He can travel to meet us all together at my parents' place in Melbourne on Thanksgiving. That's the goal right now, but he's doing much better. And thanks for asking.
That's good to hear, for sure.
Yeah, glad to hear it. We love Brock.
I mean, as a guy in the goaltenders union,
yes,
like I've always said, if you need an overager. But don't ask me to practice. Just don't ask me to practice with the team. Rick Vive asked me to practice once with the Dundas Real McCoys, and I declined. But a buddy of mine, I said, "Hey, do you want to go practice with the Real McCoys?" He was a goalie. He goes, "Yeah, I'll do it." He was purple and he just got melted. Like he said, they were practicing doing a Rick Vive slap shot coming down the right wing. Anyway, it's good to hear that Brock is doing well. And but now talking about overagers, I want to talk about underagers, and I want to show you a picture of a guy you should take a look at and keep in your mind for probably 15 years from now. But I know you know who this is, but Ryan and my little grandson Riker, who's been out the rink a lot, there they are right there. Dad and Riker with their Fergus Whalers jerseys on. He's ready to go. So keep an eye on him. Get him.
Sign him to an AP card.
My daughter Jenna can give him some skating lessons. I know that and look at there. He's got a goalie stick. So maybe he's going to join the goalie union one day too.
Two things I got to tell you about. When I was on the phone there earlier, when I was waiting to get on your show, I actually just signed an AP card.
Did you? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm his agent, so you need to talk to me.
So you need to talk to me about what's going to cost us, but he's an AP. And, we can, as long as we can work out a deal, Clark, I figured it'll be okay. But, I talked to Whiteside at the league, and Riker's on an AP card for the Whalers now. So we'll see if we can't get what's called practices, at the CW.
For sure.
But,
if
anyone, a shout out to Ryan and Jenna and Riker and Carter.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Nobody supports the Whalers more than he does. Their family does. We enjoy having them at the rink. It's family first with the Whalers, and that's a typical example with their family coming out and supporting us. So you should be very proud of that family, Clarky. They're great people. So
and he loves Ryan. He loves going to the rink. Like that's
yeah.
Riker just wants to go to the rink all the time. He's turning 3 in October, and that's all he wants to do is just go to the rink.
My son has this GoPro he has for racing dirt bike. Turn on Riker at the rink. It might be a pretty fun thing just watching him run around. Like he's a GPS at the rink, right?
That's a great idea. I have a GoPro. I will let Jenna use it.
On his head and just sit back and watch. It'd be great.
Exactly. Right? That's
it. Might all look like it's in fast forward. Yeah.
We should use that footage. We should put it on. Ryan will put it on him one game, and we'll use the footage on the show.
100%.
A day in the life of Riker and the Whalers. That'd be awesome. Yeah,
100%. We'll hear Ducky behind him wheezing, chasing after him. The Rangers fan. I don't know about that. Yeah.
Oh, you had to.
I know, man. I know. We have some battles at the office. Because being a Maple Leaf fan, him being.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay, good. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that. Now, how do you think we're going to do? Like, this is the year.
Can we talk about that? Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about that. This is the year.
Well, we've been saying that since '68, but I like their club. I like what Treliving's done. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that he walked him back for one more year. I think it's the 1 year deals that he's got with Domi and Bertuzzi and Klingberg. I think it's one of those things where that's kind of that's the window of time. He's basically saying 1 more year. Let's just do 1 more year and see if with those guys aboard, and Reeves. I like what he did as far as changing the type of game they're going to play with those guys.
Yeah.
It all comes down to goaltending for me, and I think that I think Wall's going to surprise people. I think he'll be the number 1 guy by Christmas for that team.
Interesting. And Easton Cowan looked good too, eh?
Easton Cowan, yeah, exactly. Now you threw in Wall last year in the playoffs, obviously, and he quietly, without much people saying anything, he did a heck of a job.
Yeah.
So I think it's something that he could perform for them, and you would know this, Ryan. Like obviously being a Capitals fan, they had to lose before they won. They had to lose some big hockey games before they won, and I remember
they did that.
Right, and I wasn't saying I'm being in a positive manner.
Oh no, Ryan said it many times. Yeah,
that's something that had to happen, and I think if I can, I'm hoping this is a year. I do think they're going to play well. They're going to be somebody to reckon with, but they have to be healthy. They got to stay healthy, and they have to probably add some guys at some point. But I like their team.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll be good again. We'll see how this all works out. Nylander maybe play some center. Him and Matthews maybe penalty kill a little bit. We'll see how Samsonov does in year 2 in Leafland. He was pretty okay in year 1. He was okay. But we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Just okay.
And, I think like Brock.
Not a good road record.
Like Brock mentioned you today when I was talking to him, like if Nylander wants $10 million, then you better play in the middle and learn some responsibilities to earn $10 million. Right? Like,
I don't disagree.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
I think they're going to just let him play out this. I think that's what they're doing. They're hoping that his motivation is going to be money this season, and they're not going to sign him until the season's over, if that. But I just think they're going to let him play out the string.
He was good for them in the playoffs, I must admit. Like
he was 100%. Yeah. And if he has a good year, it's going to be to his benefit, and Leafs might not be able to afford him. Who knows? But I at this point, just win. That's all we want to do is win.
Exactly. The regular season, you're in that mode that my team was in for 4 years, 5 years. The regular season just does not matter anymore. Let's get to April and see what you're made of. It'll be interesting. Before we let you go, Jason, I do want to ask you one more thing about Brock, because obviously played at very high levels, BCHL, won a Cherry Cup here in Listowel. Got to mention Memorial Cup champion with the Windsor Spitfires. We love the Bearcat. We love what he's all about. Someday, could you see him potentially getting into coaching? I know he was doing the goal line goalie training stuff. It's something that he likes doing. What are the odds he ends up in the Fergus Whalers front office someday?
That'll be a decision Brock makes. I'd like to think that he will. Brock has some aspirations right now, and obviously first and foremost is getting healthy. And then I think it's something that he will get into at some point. He's got some other aspirations right now that he's fulfilling, but I think he'd do a wonderful job at it. When he was doing the goalie training, he was really sought after, to be honest with you. People really wanted to work with them. The kids liked them. So it's something, a discussion him and I have had, and he knows that door is always open to him if and when he decides he wants to. But it would be something I think he'd be really good at, and I think there's an opportunity for him down the road to maybe enjoy some Bonanza songs at the CW Sportsplex there when we're down there doing our thing.
I agree. I think he'd be a great coach, and hey, you could do worse than learning from a Memorial Cup champion, couldn't you?
That's true.
So
that's true.
I think in a few years we'll see him involved for sure. Jason, I really appreciate you doing this, man. Clarky and I were so happy to have you on and talk about the Fergus Whalers. We love that you've hit the ice running here, and best of luck with the rest of the season, man. We're gonna get down there. We're gonna get down there and come to a game, man. And I can't wait to see you down there.
Well, I really want to say thank you again, guys. It really was an honor being asked to be on your show. It's outstanding. I wish you guys all the best. Thanks for your support of the Fergus Whalers, and thanks for all the kind words about Brock. We certainly appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you guys at the rink and outside the rink, and all the best to both of you.
You bet, brother. We'll be there soon. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, lots to dissect here. Jays, looks like they're going to make it after all. And of course, hey, we got to talk about the thing that's become the main segment here. Our couch potatoes, brought to you by Conway Furniture. That's next, coming up here on Instigating. Welcome back to Instigating with Clarky and Drury. Thanks to our friend Jason Baier, the president and director of hockey ops with the Fergus Whalers of the PJHL. Just awesome to catch up with Bizey.
Yeah, and like when I was a kid, I know that was a long time ago, Ryan, but Friday nights was a special night. We went to the Weston Dukes games in Weston. I used to live in Etobicoke, Weston part of Etobicoke. And I still remember to this day, like going there and watching the games at Weston Arena. And by the way, Weston Arena, old barn, still there, still looks the same. Amazing with the curved wooden structure in it.
Yes.
But I just remember some of even the promotions they did. They used to do a player bingo. So you got a bingo card when you walked in. And if a player got a point, you could cross off his number. So it was all player numbers on the bingo card. And if you got a bingo, you won some money. So that was that. I'll just never forget that. It was kind of a neat thing to do. And teams should do that now. That's a great idea for a team to do. I just thought of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, player bingo.
Yeah, there are a lot of good promotions out there for sure. And you're right. Like the nice thing, you know, for Fergus getting a team back is being able to kind of have that, you know, as part of the town identity again. And I think that, you know, Jason brought it up. Some of the, you know, unfortunate things that shook down with the old Devils franchise, it just didn't end up working out. But I think that guy, you know, you can see his passion and how competitive he is. He wants this thing to succeed, and, you know, stable ownership and leadership is everything. Just especially
go out and give it a shot if you haven't. That's all I'm saying. Give it a shot. Like, you'll have memories that last forever. Because it's been a long time since I used to go to the Weston Dukes. And I think
and you still think of that, man.
Like that. But yeah,
you know, I remember being a little kid, and the Arthur Tigers were like the thing to do on Fridays and Saturdays.
There you go. Yeah.
The Arthur Tigers senior team, man, I wish my little hometown village of Arthur would bring back some form of high level hockey like that. Because my parents were on the executive. They were team secretaries. Like, it was big. The whole town, like, you know, rallies around it. I remember packing the ACC, the Arthur Community Center, at the real ACC.
Wow.
And people going nuts in there.
Yeah. I just remember, like, I think my love for goalies might have started there, because watching the goalies and their pads and their masks, like, of course, it was just the plain white mask, right? It wasn't no cage, nothing. It was like, it was the 70s, right? It was the early 70s. And they wore those just plain white masks, and they looked like a villain in the nets. And I think that's what got my, you know, love for goalies, going out to those Weston Duke games. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I remember a lot of fights. I remember that. There were a lot of fights in those games back then, but it was fun to go. It was fun to go on a Friday night and watch
talk senior
what's going
hockey.
on.
My God.
And our producer Adam Olivero's piping up in our chat saying the Port Perry Mojacks are still going.
Oh, yes, the Mojacks,
back in his home
absolutely.
area. So that's good.
Historic team, absolutely.
What's a Mojack?
Yeah,
what is that?
if you're, I don't know, dude.
What is a Mojack? Adam, can you turn your mic on? What's a Mojack? What is it?
What's a 49er? He has no idea. He says it. He has no idea. I don't know what it is. What are half of the things?
I don't know. That's a good show one day.
Yeah. What is this?
What is this?
What is this sports logo?
Exactly. Yeah,
What's a San Francisco 49er? Like, I legitimately don't know. You know what I mean?
They're gold miners.
Okay, gold miners. It's something to do with gold mine. That makes sense. Okay, the Yukon gold, all that stuff. Sure.
I wonder if Adam read that on the internet.
Well, and they're playing gold. Well, he must have. He probably Googled that. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. We're not giving our producer enough credit, okay? It was his birthday last week. We were nice to him.
Who else?
And now we're bagging on him, okay? He probably knows he's a worldly guy, okay? He puts up with us every week, for God's sake.
I know.
He must have to
Shout out to Adam. Shout out to Adam for sure.
Shout out to the 49ers, too, because, like, they're playing golden. My God, I think for my money right now, they're the best team in the league. And the Miami Dolphins are right there, too. Boy, they ever skunked the Broncos. They could have been my couch potato. We'll touch on that later, of course. Brought to you by Conway Furniture.
Yeah.
I got to say something. I got to get this off my chest. It kind of ties into my couch potato, which we'll see later. Dude, I don't know if you see, and I know you're more of a CFL guy, and go Argos. We love that. But I don't know if you've seen this video circulating around of Ben Roethlisberger, who's like, who wants to hear from that loser? And Jerome Bettis, the bus, who I like. Everybody liked the bus, who are Steelers greats, Pittsburgh Steelers. They were on some podcast where they said that in 2004, they're convinced that the Patriots were cheating because they were stealing their defensive signals, and that's why they lost the AFC Championship game that year, 41-27 or something like that, or 47-21. Like, the Patriots skunked them. They were a joke. And I'm just tired of this. Like, you lost, and you lost to the greatest dynasty of all time, and you're being crybabies. By the way, Jerome Bettis.
Yeah, but if they lost to cheaters, that's
they didn't. Jerome Bettis pointed out, he said, they asked him how were they cheating, and he said, well, they were looking at our coordinator, and so we lined up. He specifically brought up a play that I remember well on 4th and 1, and the play caller on the sideline, their coach, made a hand motion that everybody can see, and they didn't change their signs at all. It's like in baseball when the second baseman starts, it's not illegal to steal signs.
Is it illegal to steal signs with the use of an electronic medium?
Yes, it is, but they weren't doing that then.
Okay.
And there's
so they weren't looking at a monitor with a camera on the guy? Because that would be illegal.
There was no monitor on the field. There was no monitors on the field.
What do you
now
feel
you're
about
starting
this?
To feed the
Okay, fine. Get off your horse there. But let's talk about iPads.
They're losers.
On the bench. What about iPads on the bench? I hate it. Like Vladdy strikes out with the bases loaded and picks up the iPad. Just don't worry about like anything. Like
I don't love it.
I don't at all.
It doesn't bother me.
Go back into the cage and hit the ball, maybe.
You know who it probably bothers in a sense? The coaches. It probably bothers the head coach because
they watch
generally
it too,
that information about what went wrong would just come from your coach, where they would say, "Hey, bad pinch."
Yeah, but the coach is going to use that video later, probably as well. You know what I mean?
I can look. This is annoying, I guess, in a sense. I fence it a lot.
You fenced it? No, you don't.
With some stuff, this is a thing where I'll fence it, where like I'll hear the arguments for and against it and not lean one way or the other. Do I think they're useful? Obviously, some guys probably do find some use in it. And maybe a guy like George Springer looks at it and goes, "Oh, I didn't really get the read I thought I did on that slider. I'll try a different approach next time." If there's any benefit like that, cool.
You know who should use it as the game's going? Umpires. The umpiring again lately has been atrocious.
And I love our friends in the umpire and referee union that we've had on the show. Our buddy Jim Cressman, everybody. I get it, and I get they're trying. I don't think they
are.
Have been, man, that that Pittsburgh, I want to say Pittsburgh Brewers game maybe a couple weeks ago that ended on that brutal 3-2 pitch that was 7 inches off the plate. Oh my God. It's just,
we need this electronic strike zone badly. It affects the game so much when the wrong call
it legitimately does.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so black and white. And I get over the argument over the course of a game. Oh, well, they make a lot of good calls. A lot of them aren't.
No.
Angel Hernandez is out there with 81% accuracy.
That's why they're paid a lot of money. They should be making good calls, right?
Well, one would think. Yeah,
they need to get this in. They need to get this instituted ASAP.
And I know, dude, you can see those videos. Pitching Ninja shares them all the time of the view of pitches coming in right at the plate. Like there's cameras right there. I get it, man. It's so hard to pick these pitches up.
They have the technology. They have the technology. They can do it in tennis. They can do it in baseball.
Yeah, I
Black
agree.
and white.
Because that argument runs hollow for me, right? Because you're sitting there and going, look at this evidence of how hard it is.
Yeah.
Well, so okay, so then fix it. There is an ability to make this better.
Yeah. I know.
You could still let the umpires call the games and have it be a challenge system. They still have to call guys out. There's a review system.
Yeah.
Sure. If the argument is,
they still got to make the call.
No, I know. At the end of the day, to sit there and go, yeah, boy, it's really hard to pick up these 104 mile an hour sliders that Jordan Hicks is throwing. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So use some help. We have the help. Use it. And don't give me this, if a pitch bounces on the ground and then it goes through the strike zone, the electronic thing is going to call it a strike. Give me a break. There's still an umpire there that can just say, no, that wasn't a strike. It's just, change.
Yes.
People sometimes don't like change, right?
Well, this year, baseball, look what's happened. The shift rules, the pitch clock especially.
I love it.
Game's never been better.
I agree.
In my opinion.
I agree. It's a game 2.5 hours long. It's what it should be. 2:10 to 2:30.
They're doing it.
Done. Exactly.
I think the average is 224, 226.
Perfect. It's perfect. I hope they keep it up in the playoffs too.
They are, yeah. They're not.
No, I'm just saying. Let's hope, because some leagues change their rules in the playoffs, as we know.
Okay.
As we know.
See, now you're starting to sound like a Pittsburgh Steeler, where you're crying about, we're not going to get into that because we don't have time. Oh, it's woe is me. They stole our signs. The ref doesn't like me.
Yeah. Gilmore got high sticked.
Okay. Well,
it's true.
Quick. Clarky and I are going to get heated here in a second. So we got to end the segment. We're going to cooler heads are going to prevail here. And we're going to come back with our couch potatoes, brought to you by our friends at Conway Furniture. Remember, we're also brought to you by our friends at Larry Hudson Chevrolet Buick GMC 1000 Wallace Avenue. Yes.
North
in Listowel. Go see them. Okay. We're going to talk about that in a second, too. And our great friends over at the Listowel Squash Courts. Never been easier to sign up.
How's your game? How's your game?
Get over there.
How's your game?
With Alan, I still can't beat him. But, man, you text Alan when we're done. I dropped some unbelievable shots today.
Okay.
Including a Federer attempt.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very good.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm learning.
It's all just exactly. It's perfect for you.
I'm learning.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm dropping some my backhand is a weapon. All the rest of my game needs some work.
Okay.
So,
but you're working up a sweat.
100% working up a sweat. I'm gassed and
how are the knees?
For an hour 15.
Knees good?
Knees are good. Yeah. My bad knees it's fine. It's not bad. By the end of the hour, I'm ready to sit down now, but it's great. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Listowel Squash Courts, super easy to sign up. Hey, by the way, 24/7 facility. You get a cool little fob. Go play squash at 2:30 a.m. You can. I have.
You can.
Go do it. You can go do that. All right, we'll take a quick break. Coming back with the couch potatoes, wrapping up the show next here on Instigating. Wrapping things up this week here on Instigating with Clarkie and Drury. And once again, thank our great sponsors at Conway Furniture. We'll hear more from them in a moment here. Our couch potato, of course, we got to get to those.
It's coming up.
Our friends at Larry Hudson Chevrolet Buick GMC and the Listowel Squash Courts as well. And Clarkie, what's going on over there? What's going on over there with our friends?
Well, the demo sale is still going on.
Oh,
we're moving a lot,
still
but
going.
We still have some demo trucks, $7,000 off and 0.99%. Where can you get 0.99% financing on anything nowadays? But 0.99 up to 60 months, and it's only at Larry Hudson's. Come on in and try one of these Turbo Max trucks. As you know, I drive one.
Yes.
I drive a little car too now, which you know. But I do drive a truck, and I love it. And I'm heading up north this weekend, and I'm loading up the truck with my kayaks and my bikes, and it's gonna be a fun week.
And it's gonna have no problem towing all that stuff because it's Power Max, and you can go get one too to haul all your stuff around.
You could go get one too
for $7,000 off. Wow, I like my car though.
Yeah, but
driving to the rink,
there's nothing like a truck.
There is nothing like a truck, I will say that. And if I could afford to drive one, I would.
And you know what else? The deals are big.
The deals, well, they're hot. They're
hot
always hot.
Big.
Even with the temperature dropping a little outside, which is ideal for me.
We've had some amazing weather. And it's going to continue. It's going to continue. Yeah. I saw you this week playing a little tennis. I drove by you.
Was that you that honked? Okay, because we were like, who was that? You know,
there you go. Yeah, I saw you playing some tennis.
I was in the heat of battle, slicing Federer backhands, which always drives
you look
Kate
more like
crazy.
Milos with his serve. Boom. Anyway.
Yeah. We don't take the serving too seriously, but Kate was captain of her tennis team in high school. My girlfriend,
very good.
I don't know if you
know where
that.
I was heading? I was heading east of Listowel.
Yeah, and you know where you know who you can find at the east end of Listowel on Highway 86?
Yes, I do. Conway Furniture.
Our friends at Conway Furniture. And you can come here every week, even on the podcast version, if you're catching up. You like to, I have a lot of friends that download 6 or 7 episodes ahead of time. I got some friends that are truck drivers, and they like to listen to them on road trips. People are listening to 6 or 7 hours.
Shout out to the truck drivers. Absolutely.
Yes. My buddy Travis McDougall. I know
Jim Chapman.
He's listening.
My buddy Jim Chapman drives a truck and plays some squash. Yep.
It's unbelievable. I can't believe people listen to that many hours of us consecutively, but they do it, and we appreciate it.
It's addictive, but it's time for the couch potato.
Yes, we appreciate being a couch potato. It's something we like here, and again, I started it off. My very first couch potato brought to you by Conway Furniture, Highway 86 in Listowel. By the way, all the prices you see in Conway Furniture showroom include HST and delivery. And you know who's the greatest delivery man of all time? Well, you know what? I'm going to wait. I'm going to segue to you. I usually let you go first. I'll get to my couch potato in a minute. Who is your nominee this week?
Well, I had the pleasure last week of reacquainting with a good buddy of ours. There he is. I'm not using him as our couch potato, but look at you and me and Dart Guy.
That's Dart Guy.
We had a good Friday night last week, talking Leafs and everything else. But there's a look at Dart Guy. Just wanted to give a shout out to the main man, and we're going to get him on to talk some Leafs in a little bit.
Absolutely.
Before the season starts for sure. He's got some good hot takes. There's no question about it. But he's not my couch potato. My couch potato this week, Ryan, is a collective. Because all these guys should be collectively couch potatoes. Because in their first preseason game of the season, the Vancouver Canucks happened to give up 10 goals. How do you lose 10-0 in a preseason game? The Flames beat them. They were up 7-0 halfway through the game, and it was just goal after goal after goal after goal. No, seriously, though, how do you not put out any effort in a preseason game when you're fighting for jobs? And like Rick Tockett's the new coach there, right? Like, he must have been going nuts. Like,
Yeah,
absolutely crazy.
Even though it's a preseason game,
it doesn't matter.
10-0's.
10-0's terrible. And there's got to be guys there fighting for spots. How can you give up 10 goals? Like,
they were, Clarky, because like Calgary, the excuse being made is Calgary dressed a lot of their regulars and Vancouver didn't. That's even worse.
Yeah.
Because that's a bunch of guys that are fighting for spots. Like, how on earth does that happen?
That's exactly
10-0. You're like
10-0.
You want to talk about beatdowns.
But Huberdeau, maybe Huberdeau's back. Maybe getting rid of Sutter and Calgary's going to help him. And
I think so.
Anyway, the collective Vancouver Canucks, it's going to be a long season in Vancouver if this keeps up. My Conway friends.
And you have to be concerned
of the week.
You have to be concerned too if that keeps on going on, stuff like that sprinkled throughout the regular season. Does Elias Pettersson have a gander around and say, you know what? I don't know if I want to be a part of this anymore. And he's as big a superstar as you're going to find. Like, you lose him all of a sudden. Jeez, you're crashing back to earth, aren't you? Okay. Yeah. And that's a great couch potato, and shout out as well to what was almost my couch potato, which could have been the Denver Broncos, because they let the Miami Dolphins absolutely thunderclap them over the weekend, 70-20. Oh my God.
How do you give
Russell Wilson?
Talk about 10 goals in a game, 70 points in a football game.
It's hard to do. Wilson is not cooking out there. No. It's bad news bears. But my couch potato, and this is a bit of a throwback. This guy's not even playing anymore. But I got to defend my kingdom. I'm getting sick and tired of hearing about people saying Patrick Mahomes is the greatest thing ever. Then this guy's the greatest quarter. No. Tommy Brady is my couch potato of the week. And this is why. Producer Adam's got the video prepped. Here's why Tommy Brady is my couch potato.
In the history of football.
Wow.
Which is that Tom Brady never took a single snap in a professional football game in which his team was mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
What? That's crazy. Really?
Not one snap in one game did he ever take where his team didn't have a chance to make the playoffs still.
Hard to believe. It really is.
But is it though?
No, it is.
But yes, I know. That's why I called it the greatest stat in the history of football.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Now we can have a debate about the greatest stat. It's an insane stat that not even I was aware of.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that Tommy Brady, who people immediately said, well, he could come back and play for the Jets. Aaron Rodgers is out, not going well with old Zachary Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably could step in there and have them with a winning record right now. But Tom Brady never took one snap where he couldn't have made the playoffs.
Did anyone fact check this? Is it true?
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
There was a thread underneath the original tweet where I saw that video that did confirm it, which is absolutely nuts.
Because a lot of people will believe anything they see or hear on the internet.
I know, but believe this. Tom Brady is the greatest football player that ever touched the field. No disrespect to Lawrence Taylor, Joey Montana, Johnny Unitas, go down the list. It's Tom and everybody else. And I'm sorry. If you're still out there and cannot accept this, you're a hater and you're blind and can't read, because the stats say it all. Forget about the regular season records that he broke, which he owns. I don't even care about all that. This guy combined mind-blowing stats with the greatest postseason record of any professional North American athlete ever. 7 Super Bowls, 6 with the Pats. Don't come for my guy and not be prepared to get thrown into the abyss of sports arguments because you will lose. Tommy Brady never played a game where he was not heading to the playoffs, or at least had a chance to make the playoffs. Goodbye.
Chad Kelly's
ultimate
making a run at him.
He's the ultimate couch potato.
Chad
Brought to
Kelly
you by Conway Furniture.
Chad
Who?
Kelly's making a run.
Chad Kelly.
The Argos quarterback, the 12-1 Argonauts. They're on
Thanks.
fire. They're on fire.
No thanks.
They're
Love
on
Chad
fire.
Kelly. Love what the Argos are doing. Love our buddy Mike Hogan having fun down there. Tom Brady, good night.
They beat Hamilton again.
It's unbelievable what they're doing. And it's
Anyway.
unbelievable. Now
Yeah.
listen quickly, but we got to touch. We're filming the episode a little early this week. We're recording the episode, okay?
Yeah,
I know Clarky hates it when I say filming, okay?
Yeah, when there's
We're
no
not
film
we're not
involved.
Steven
We're
Spielberg.
recording.
We're recording this episode a little earlier in the week. As a matter of fact, on the day the Jays-Yankees series starts, so by the time people see this with our friends on Whiteman TV, that series will be over, and I hope that you can sit there and look at me on the screen right now and be giving a thumbs up saying, they did it. They swept them. They're in there. They only need 3 wins to guarantee that they're in. They only need 3. So by the time you're watching this, I hope that you're going, they did it, Ryan. They actually pulled through when it mattered, and they figured it out. And then Tampa right after. So it's looking more and more likely that they're going to go to the Trop, which we don't like. But even if
they
go
just
to
took 2 out
Minnesota,
of 3. They just took 2 out of 3.
they did, which was unbelievable. I couldn't believe that. It could have been 3 of 3, but someone broke a fingernail, and hey, what do you do? All
That's
right.
okay.
You can watch this show Friday nights at 8, Sunday nights at 9 with our friends on Whiteman TV. That's channel 6 for Whiteman subscribers. We
Channel
debut
6.
on the YouTube channel Friday nights at 9. Yes, you can find us on YouTube. You can also follow us on social media at Instigating Pod, where we share clips from the show every week and give great shout outs to our sponsors, Conway Furniture, Larry Hudson Chevrolet Buick GMC, and of course, the Listowel Squash Courts. You can find us on all the best podcast apps as well. I'm Ryan Drury. That's Clarky. We will be back next week for more Instigating. Come on, Jays!